All right. Give a few minutes for people to get in the chat here. That's good. That's good. Where's my cigar? All right, guys, let's start this. I am flying solo tonight because my pal Merlin is stuck somewhere in North Carolina. He's too busy to hang out with his friend Dan, the great curator, on Tuesday night, but I didn't want to leave all our loyal followers of Between Two Slabs hanging, so I'm going to do this episode solo tonight on my own, which for me, I think it's going to be fun because finally I'll get to get a word in over Merlin on this show. Everybody knows Merlin always dominates the conversations when we do this show. So finally I get the whole episode to myself, and I get to do it my way for you guys. I've got my cocktail in hand, so as the show progresses and as the drink goes down, we might get a little bit spicy tonight. We'll see. Today is going to be the year-end review, the 2022 hobby year-end review. I'm going to be giving you guys my top 3 lessons I learned this year while being basically like a full-time dealer in the hobby. My top 3 pickups of this year. My top 5 highlights from this year, and my top 3 goals going into next year. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. We're going to be reviewing. I'm going to be taking comments, answering questions. I'm going to be interacting with you guys a lot more tonight since I'm on my own. But basically, it's going to be a fun episode. And if Merlin somehow finds his way back to California in the next couple of days, we might do a second follow-up episode, part 2 of this week. It depends. There's a lot of things going on with the weather right now. The flights are all being delayed and things like that. So he might get stuck. Who knows? But for tonight, you guys are stuck with me. All right, so let's get into this here. First of all, I want to talk about what's on my mind this week. Before we get into the year-end review of these things, I want to talk about what's on my mind. Something that happened last week that I thought was pretty cool, and I want to highlight. So for those of you guys who like to follow happenings that go on right in the week, one of the biggest stories of last week was 26 Collectibles having the balls, the cojones, to the slabs, as I like to say, having the slabs to rip a box of 2003 Upper Deck Exquisite. Okay, for you guys who don't know, that box is retailed is valued at like $50,000 for that box. $50,000 for, like, I don't know how many cards you get in there, like 5 cards or some ridiculous number like that, right? But he had a sealed box of it, and he ripped it like the day before Christmas to just for the hell of it, right? And for those of you who don't know, the chase card in that set is the LeBron James RPA, the exquisite RPA. But the chances of getting that is, I don't know what the odds are, but they're not good. There's only 99 of those cards made. So I don't know what the odds are, but they can't be that good. So to have the balls to rip a $50,000 box, knowing that the only card that you could get would be the LeBron James RPA that would make your money back, and everything else would be, essentially worthless compared to the value of the box. I don't know who in their right mind would do that. But anyways, 26 Collectibles, he does it. He decides to rip the box. The last box he actually ripped, he pulled a Jordan Auto redemption card, which I don't even think that's worth anything because it's a redemption, right, from 2003. So the other box that he previously ripped, $50,000, was he got the redemption. So I guess he wanted to redeem himself, right? By ripping another box. I don't know where he gets these things. Anyways, he rips it and he actually does it. He actually pulls the LeBron James RPA out of that box. Incredible moment. You can see the genuine excitement um, he displayed when he pulled that box. He's Jewish, so he pulled the box and he's like, "Oh my God, it's a Hanukkah miracle." And he goes on and he's there with his family and I guess his wife's in the background. He's got two boys and they're all going crazy. And what I want to highlight about this incident, which I thought was actually really cool, is that um like there's a lot of people that would there's like lately in the last few months there's a lot of hating going on where people just just comment, they say nasty things to people when they post like big cards. They might say people are flexing, showing off, whatever. When people the card values go down, they highlight that and they make fun of that, things like that. But with this incident, what I noticed is that a ton of people were celebrating this uh, all over Instagram. Okay, they were all posting, "Oh my God, 26 collectibles scored big. Oh my God, he pulled this hobby. What a great moment for the hobby. What a great moment for 26 collectibles." All these different people were posting and sharing stories across the hobby. Like this was big news, guys. And 26 Collectibles was sharing all the other stories that people were tagging him. I myself made several posts about this. And I just thought that was very cool, very refreshing that so many people were coming together to celebrate this guy's win if it was their own. I thought that was super cool. We need to see more of that. You know, that actually made me happy. Even though I've talked to the guy a couple times, I don't know him personally. I don't really interact with him that much. I do know him kind of, but I was still generally happy that he pulled such a big card. And I'm interested to see what he does with that. Does he grade it? Does he send it to auction? Does he keep it? What happens, right? I'm very interested to see. But a lot of people were celebrating his success with that, and his accomplishment of pulling that card. And I thought that was super cool. So I think we need more of that. I think we need to highlight the fact that a lot of people came and supported him and congratulated him. Some people made fun of him, but in just like a little teasing way, right? Just like in a fun way. They were just kind of joking about it, but nobody was actually like hating on him that I saw or that I paid attention to. And I think that we need more of that. We need to celebrate people pulling big cards. We need to celebrate people um, buying and winning cards, big cards at auctions. We need to celebrate people selling cards at auction. That's how we keep the positivity going. That's how we keep the excitement, the engagement going, and continue to grow the hobby. We need to get more of that. We need to get less of highlighting huge auction drops, highlighting people that lose money, highlighting people or making fun of people that don't pull anything, or just trying to highlight, just trying to make people feel bad. Basically, I feel like there's a lot of content focused on trying to make people feel bad in the hobby for whatever reason, but I'm not about that. I'm about making people feel good about their choices in the hobby. So I thought that was super cool. And I'd love to hear your comments on that, guys. Feel free tonight. I'm going to be taking comments throughout the show. We're not going to wait till the end. So whatever you guys want to put into the comment sections, I'll try to highlight it if I can. Clean comments only, please. Respectful comments. But yeah, we'll be doing that. But I thought that was really cool about 26 collectibles. So congratulations to him, and hopefully we see more cool stuff like that happening. This week is going to be interesting because we have Star Wars Galaxy Chrome Series 2 coming out tomorrow, actually. And I'm already seeing previews of these cards. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure people are going to be ripping a ton of this product, and I'm sure we're going to see like super fractors show up, autographs show up, and things like that. So I want people to start celebrating that kind of stuff too. I don't want to see, I hope I don't see people talking shit about each other, but there's always that little element in the hobby. Okay. All right. So that was what's on my mind this week here. Let me say hello to a couple people here. John Holt, thank you for joining me. My friend Adrian, CV Sports Cards. Go follow CV Sports Cards on YouTube, guys. If you don't already do it, he has his own YouTube channel. The dude is struggling. To bring his numbers up. We need to get him to his next milestone, which will be about 400 followers. So please try to support Adrian if you can. He does giveaways, guys. So make sure you follow him and ask him for the giveaways. Make sure he gives you something for your follow, okay? Because he needs it. Let's see here. What are these comments here? Emmanuel, the Dan Solo show. Yeah, this is the solo show tonight. I'm gonna see if I can branch out on my own and get out of Merlin's shadow for the night. I have all the spotlight to myself tonight. Let's see. What is Dexflow saying here? Oh, Dexflow talking about toys. I love toys. Dan picked up 2 more Generation 1 Transformer AFF graded toys. 2023 is the year for toys. Yes, I agree with that, my friend. I agree with that. Where are you getting this stuff? Are you getting this on eBay or a different auction site? You might have to share with me your secret. I want to see where you're getting these AFA graded Transformers toys. Okay, so with that, one more question here because this is praise from me. I always got to highlight the comments that give me praise. CV Sports Cards, thank you, Dan. Much appreciated. You're welcome, my friend. Okay, so let's talk about. Let me get a sip of my drink here. I'm already feeling it, guys. I'm already feeling it. Okay, let's get into the year-end review. This has been a crazy year for me, guys. This year, I was basically like a full-time dealer. Last year, 2021, was like the year that I was doing card shows every week, but they were mostly local card shows, So it was very easy for me to go and do a show on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no problem. But I kind of outgrew that. I outgrew my local community because they all kept seeing my cards all the time. I kept seeing the same people all the time. So for me to kind of grow as a vendor, I needed to step out of my local Southern California scene, and I needed to venture out into out-of-state shows. So 2022 was the year that I decided, me and Merlin, that we were going to be going on the road. Basically, we're going to be traveling salesmen, and we're going to go to as many out-of-state card shows as we could. And that's what we did this year. We went to like basically like 20 different shows across the country this year. It was crazy. We were in Dallas. We were at every Dallas show, or I was at every Dallas show. We were at Culture Collision in Atlanta. We went to Houston TriStar show. We went to we were at a couple Bay Area shows. We're at where's the other one? We went to Vancouver. No, not Toronto to a Canadian show. We went to a couple Vegas shows. We went to where else did we go? There's so many I can't even remember where we went here. We went to Atlantic City for the National. We went to Chicago. So we were pretty much all over the place. As many shows as we could go to, we went. And it was San Diego, LA, some of the out of area shows there. So it was a crazy time for sure. And I learned a lot. I think I developed a lot. I matured a lot as a vendor, as a collector, as a dealer, as a content creator. And it was definitely a fun experience for sure. Something that I never thought I would ever do at this age, at this time of my life, when I'm like basically 40 years old, traveling the country doing card shows, right? Plus maintaining a family at home, maintaining my other businesses, my other investments, and all that stuff, all my responsibilities. I was doing that. Plus, on top of that, I was doing the card show scene, plus making the content and things like that. So very, very interesting time. Exhausting now that I look back on it. It seems like it's been more than a year. It seems like it's been like 3 years, to be honest. But yeah, it was crazy time. Met a lot of new people, made some really good friends along the way. Merlin, Brian, among those, made some great memories, had some really great highlights. Had some difficult times here and there, but for the most part, overwhelmingly positive, I would say. So I just kind of want to show you guys my year-end thoughts on all the things that I learned, and maybe I can pass on some information to you guys about this. Okay, so let's talk about my top 3 lessons that I learned this year. Okay, from going to so many card shows and being basically fully immersed in the hobby. Number one is I kind of started to learn this towards the end of 2021, but definitely 2022 taught me that rarity is the key in the hobby. Rarity is the key. And this sounds obvious that we look at it now, but you know, last year and the beginning of this year, people were still buying, high pop cards, non-numbered cards, things like that. And what I learned from my experience when I'm buying these type of cards versus the cards that I buy now is like you're always, whenever you buy a card where somebody else has it and it's readily available, you're always going to be competing against that next sale, which can be very tricky and can suck. You could buy a card for, let's just say you buy a card for like $500 today, and you try to move it within the next 2 weeks or a month or whenever the next show is. But then in between that time, there's a sale on eBay or some other auction site or something like that. And the next sale is like maybe $400. So now when you bought a card at the value of $500, now because there's another sale, now you have to lower your price or in order to move that card, or maybe try to be stubborn and stick with that card, but you're not, it's going to be that much harder to move it now that there's a more recent sale, right? So rarity is always key to protect you against that, because the more rare the card is, the less it's going to transact, right? So you can really protect yourself against the volatile market if you can find cards that don't transact that much. Okay. And then if you don't have a card that doesn't transact that much, then it's just a matter of negotiating a fair price based on reasonable comparables and finding the right buyer for that card. So that's a lesson that I really took to heart this year. And because of that, I started buying very, very low pop cards, like numbered cards under 10 or pops under 10 that I know are not going to increase, that are not likely to increase, or just even one of ones. I've been buying a lot of one of ones lately just because I want to be able to control the market for that card. I don't want to have to like try to hustle and move the card quickly to protect myself against any type of volatility there. Like some people, they can buy a card and they can move it within days, right? The flippers, they can move their stuff super quick. Me, it takes me a little bit longer because I primarily sell my stuff at shows. So I might do like one show a month or something like that. So it might take me like 1 month to really move a card or something like that. So to protect myself against that type of volatility, I buy rarity now. And that's something I'm going to continue to do going into 2023. Buy rare cards. If it's for investment purposes, or if it's for flipping purposes, I'm going to buy rare cards. If it's just for my personal collection, I just want it, then I don't mind if it has a high pop count, if it's not numbered or whatever it is. But I have to make that decision going in to the purchase so that I don't get caught being tied to the next sale of that, if that makes any sense. All right, so that is the first lesson that I really learned this year. Buy rarity. Always buy rarity, guys. And rarity can come in all sorts of forms. It can be numbered cards, it can be low pop cards, it can be cards that nobody's ever seen before and nobody's graded before. So, but the commonality there is always buy rarity, guys. Okay. Basically, if you can look on eBay and there's another one for sale on eBay, then you're competing against that. So you want to try to find cards that nobody else has. All right. Before I get into my next one, let me get to some of the comments here. Ed Ram from Houston. Dan, do you think Star Wars Galaxy 2 is going to be a mass produced? No, in terms of comparables to sports, right? If you're looking at like Prism, Select, stuff like that, or whatever else Topps makes, Bowman and things like that. No, I don't think it's going to be as mass produced as sports cards, but it will be at least double time up, at least double the amount produced than Series 1 for sure. I know that I've gotten confirmation from an inside source at Tops that it is at least double the amount that they printed for Series 1. So keep that in mind. Okay? And that basically that impacts the cards too, because even though they're not as mass produced as like mainstream sports, they're still double the amount of supply than they were last year, and the amount of people that collect Star Wars cards is a lot less, okay, than mainstream sports. So keep that in mind, how that works out in ratios. But yes, there will be a lot of product out there for sure. Okay. And we will get into that, Ed. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Galaxy unless other people have questions. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the Galaxy coming up. Emmanuel, I got a pack of top Star Wars Wave T206 and I really like them. Yeah, they're interesting cards. I like that tobacco style cards. And I was looking online and they're actually, some of those actually worth a lot of money. So that was interesting. I ripped a couple boxes that Merlin gave me. And I like them. They were pretty cool. It's not something I'm going to be chasing or anything like that, but I think it's a cool product. Edram, and more difficult to hit supers. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, with more products, because there's still only the base set of the cards. I think is only one to 100. So there's still going to be a limited amount of supers out there, but more products for those supers to be spread out. So I do think it's going to be harder to hit the supers. But that's just part of the game. That's just part of the chase. Andrew, happy holidays, Dan. Who do you want to think will win the Super Bowl? Football is so hard to predict. I would love to see Tom Brady get to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl, because I feel like that's like the ultimate like FU story to all the drama that he's going to right now. I would love to see that. I'd love to see my 49ers. I'm wearing my 49ers gear right here. So I'd love to see my 49ers get in there. But who knows? I don't know. Football is it's so hard to predict because it's such an even playing field. Like any team can win, any team can lose each week. So we'll see. I'm having fun. I'm just going to enjoy watching it, but I don't really have like a solid pick. All right. Getting on to my second lesson that I learned from 2022 is that when you're dealing with cards as much as I am, oftentimes when you get your first offer on a card, oftentimes the first offer is probably the best offer you're going to get. Okay. Especially if you're dealing with like rare cards. So I'll give you an example, right? I'll give you a general example and then I'll give you a specific example to me. So, one time I got, so basically if you get a card and maybe it's a rare card, it doesn't have a comp or something like that, somebody will make you an offer based off of just kind of like a spontaneous offer, what they think is reasonable. The immediate reaction I think most people would take would do is they probably want to squeeze out a little bit more profit. Let's say you bought a card for like $3,000 and somebody offers you $4,000 for it, but in your mind you think it's like $5,000. So you might counter saying I want 5 for it, hoping that they'll counter and they'll give you like 45 or something right there, right? You just get a little bit greedy and you want to squeeze out a little bit more profit on that sale. But maybe they'll just walk away, right? Maybe they're just like, you know what? I don't think I need it. And they'll walk away. And then you end up holding that card for a little while, right? And then the market kind of settles on a price for that card. And maybe it's not a $4,000 card or a $5,000 card. Maybe it's like a $3,500 card, or maybe 3,000 is the max on it, right? And you end up holding it, and you either have to just continue to spend time to try to sell it, or you take less than you were originally offered. And that's happened to me a few different times where I just feel like, man, I should have just taken that first offer. I should have moved it quick. There's value in moving. There's value in taking profit quickly and moving a card versus trying to hold it and squeeze out, a few extra dollars on that card. And that's happened to me several times this year where I bought a card and I thought to myself, I bought it at like $3,000. I personally value it at $5,000, and I want somebody to give me I'll take like $4,500 for it, whatever. And the best offer I might get is $4,000 on the card. And I'll just end up holding it. I'll end up holding it for a little while, and eventually I'll sell it. But I should have just taken that profit in the beginning and then just moved it into something else, right? When you're a vendor and you go to as many card shows as I do, the key strategy is to move inventory quickly. You don't want to have stale inventory. You don't want to have it to sit there for a while. If it's for sale, if you're holding something and you put it away and you don't let anybody see it, you bring it out in a few months, that's fine. But if you go to card shows weekly or monthly, or you have your stuff always available for people to look at, you want to keep that inventory fresh as much as possible. So you gotta keep moving it. And oftentimes what I've learned is the best offer usually is the first offer. If you're making profit on it, then it's good. It's always good to take profit, is what I tell people. People always message me and they say, oh, this is the deal that I have going on. Should I take it or should I hold out for more? And my answer is always, it's never bad to take profit, guys. Okay. If somebody lowballs you, then, of course you don't want to take that offer. If you're losing money, of course you don't want to take that offer. But if you're making money, it's always good to take profit, because people underestimate how difficult it is to sell cards. Believe me, guys, believe me. Even somebody like me, where I go to card shows, every month, every couple weeks, I have followers on Instagram, on YouTube. I've got a platform. I'm well known. Even for me and all my resources that I put into the hobby, it's still very difficult for me to sell cards. I've got a lot of cards that I need to sell. It's not super easy. So when you get a fair offer, if you're making 10, 20, 10, 15, 20%, that's good, guys. That's good. If you can make that quickly, then that's worth giving up the extra 10%, 20% on the back end. You know what I mean? If you want to hold out for a month and you get maybe 10%, 20% extra on the back end, I don't know. I would argue that time is more valuable, right? So that's the second lesson that I learned, is that it's always better to try to take the first offer while you can, if you're making profit. Okay, guys? All right, let me get to some of these other comments here. Matt R., if you tour again in 2023, you should make a huge thing, t-shirts, social media coverage, etc. I'm going to try, Matt. We're not going to be going to 20 shows again. That's for sure. Me and Merlin have already talked about it. We're probably going to do about like 10 shows. Okay. We're going to do the national for sure, which is going to be my complete focus for the year, building up my inventory to get to national. But we'll be doing the Dallas show. We're talking about going overseas to maybe London. I think that would be amazing if we could do the London card show. We'll probably do like maybe the Philadelphia card show, maybe Chantilly card show, go out to the East Coast a little bit. Maybe we'll do some Northern California show, San Francisco or something like that. So that's going to be what our schedule is going to look like. Maybe a couple more local shows because it's easy for us to do. But yes, we definitely want to expand on our social media presence, what we've been building. This whole concept of this podcast, Between Two Slabs, I think it's got room to grow for sure. This is going to be like we're like in like episode 60, something like that. We've got like over 60 episodes that we've been doing consistently. So I definitely want to grow that. We want to make more t-shirts. I'm wearing one right now. Check it out, guys. I'm wearing my Between Two Slabs t-shirt that was made for us by Paper Gemz, our friend Mo at Paper Gemz. So this is actually, I think this is available on his website right now, but he's got a limited amount that he's going to try to sell at the Star Wars night that we're going to be doing at DAPS Sports. But we're going to have more merch like that, more collabs, things like that. So we're definitely going to be trying to build our brand for the podcast for sure. So I appreciate that encouragement. Let's see here. Saxento, downside to having rare or expensive cards is having the difficulty in moving it. Yes, that is true, guys. That's another lesson I learned. It's not in my top 3 lists, but definitely I learned that if you have like a 1-of-1 card, it's not super easy to sell. You have to find the right buyer who wants the card and will value it the same way that you value it. Um, the difficulty with rare cards, one of ones, or cards that have no comps is people cannot understand the value on it. And we're so conditioned in the hobby right now where we have to look up the value of the card in order to spend money on it. Otherwise, we just can't process it in our head. If we can't find a comp or a comparable comp, a light comp, or anything that gives us any type of justification in our head that we can spend money on this card, most people won't do it. Right. So that's why it's very difficult when you have the more rare cards, is you really have to find, it's really about finding the right buyer for the card. Somebody who wants it, somebody that understands the rarity of it, and somebody that's willing to pay whatever they consider reasonable for that card. So that is 100% correct. Okay, so before I get to the rest of the comments here, let me get to my third. Third lesson I learned this year is that this kind of goes to the first thing about rarity, but the third lesson I learned is that low pop cards are not always good. Okay, so I think, and let me explain this. So I think in 2020, the consensus was people didn't care about pop count, right? People were just buying base cards, grading base cards. The pop count could be 100 to could be 1,000. In some cases, like a Kobe rookie, a Zion rookie, a Luka rookie, they could be in the tens of thousands for the pop count in those grades. But people didn't really care, right? Because the hobby was just moving so quickly. Then in 2021, people started to care about pop counts. They started to matter. People wanted lower pop counts for the same reason that I talked about rarity, where they were talking about, where they were thinking like, okay, if it's lower pop count, transacts less, it's more rare, my money's protected, right? So people would be, trying to get like pop counts under 100, under 50, under 10. And then you'll often see this on eBay. People will put like some type of listing on eBay and they'll say pop one on it, or low pop or something like that. You go to card shows, you see on the little stickers that people put the prices on, they'll say like pop one, pop four, pop five, whatever, right? And automatically you would assume that low pop means good. Low pop means it's a rare card. But what I learned the hard way is that low pop does not always mean it's a good card. It's not always a great sign. Sometimes it just means that the card has never been graded before because people didn't think to grade the card. It might have been a worthless card that nobody cared about, that and maybe a couple people graded it for the hell of it. That's why the pop count is low. But that card, you could easily find that same raw card on eBay and get one probably in a comparable grade, if you graded it yourself. So that's another reason that like low pop doesn't always mean good, because maybe just people don't grade it. The other thing that I learned, and I learned this, I'll give you a specific example, is that when new cards come out and it's low pop, that pop is almost always guaranteed to grow for new cards. And I'll give you an example. Earlier this year, I purchased a Lionel Messi black Color Blast. It was, I forget what set, it was Onyx or something like that. Black Color Blast, PSA 10. I did a cash trade deal for it, and we valued it based on the comp at $5,000. $5,000. I did a cash trade deal. I was into it like $52.50 for that card, because it was, at that time, it was a pop 9. So I was like, "Oh, super rare card, black Color Blast. It's a black border card. They're probably super hard to grade." Lionel Messi. I was buying some soccer at that time. I thought it was cool. Anyways, I got that card. All right. And what I saw over the next, I had that card for probably about like 4 or 5 months. Over the next 4 to 5 months, I saw that pop count grow from like a pop 9 to, when I sold it, it was like a pop 28, something like that, So it went from 9 to 28 because it was a new product. It came out this year. And as people were starting to pull the cards, they were starting to grade it. The pop count rose. And when the pop count rises, there's more transactions. And because of there's more transactions, I'm tied to that comp. So again, it goes back to the rarity issue about being tied to the comp. So the last comp that I bought it at was $5,000. And as I held on to it for a couple months, that comp would fluctuate between anywhere between 25 to 3,000 to 3,500. Eventually I got lucky and I offloaded it when there was a favorable comp. I offloaded it at 3,700. So I took like, what is that? 13, 14, 15, $1,500 loss on that card. Because the pop count rose and the comps were not in my favor. So that lesson taught me that low pops don't always matter. Whenever somebody says low pop to me, I'm always very skeptical about that. I have to look at it. Okay. The only time I really care about low pops is if the card is numbered, because then I know it's somewhat controlled, or if it's a really old card. If it's an old card and there's been enough time for people to grade it and it's still low pop, then I think I'm relatively safe. An example of that is I saw this 1981 or 1980 Yoda data files rookie card that just went up on eBay or sold on eBay yesterday. It was a pop 4 from 1980 PSA 10. Something like that I think would be pretty safe because it's been around since 1980 and it's still only a pop 4, you know. So something like that I would probably buy. I didn't win it though. But something like that I would probably buy. But if a new card came out, right, I probably wouldn't be, excited if it was a low pop. If there was like a new Star Wars card that came out, like a Galaxy, if I saw like a Galaxy, I don't know, the new Galaxy set, if a card came up and it was like a refractor, some refractor, and somebody said it was a pop 1, I wouldn't be excited about that because I know that pop would grow, right? So anyways, basically low pop is not always good, guys. You always have to be skeptical of that when you see it. Okay, getting on to some of the more comments here. Andrew, what advice or personal strategies do you use or recommend when it comes to trying to sell a card, trying to sell for a profit while struggling with nostalgia, sentimental feelings getting in the way? Ooh, good question, Andrew. Oh, and by the way, Andrew, let me just say, I appreciate all your support, all the comments you always leave. We see that you're very active in the chat. I see that you engage with us every week, so I appreciate your support. Thank you, Andrew, for sure. I'd say this is the struggle that every collector has, where we like something, we want it, and it's hard for us to give it up. And I think that this is a personal choice between everybody on how they want to participate, how they want to collect within the hobby. For me, because I go to so many card shows, I've processed in my mind that I have to turn things over. If I take it to a card show, I have to be willing to give it up, because for me, part of how I interact in the hobby, how I conduct myself in the hobby is I buy, sell, and trade cards. That's part of what I do. Not everybody does that. Some people, all they do is buy. And if that's you, if you're just a collector and all you do is buy, then it's harder for you to give up cards. Some people, all they do is sell or trade, right? They're flippers. So it's very easy for them because they're not personally attached. And then there's the hybrid people that are collectors, but they want to buy, sell, they want to trade up, they want to get rid of things. So for me, I've already processed it in my mind that if I get the price that I want for a card, I'm willing to let it go if I put it out in my inventory. I have a box for inventory of like 40, anywhere between like 40 to 80 cards at one time. That's my inventory that I take to all my shows. Then I have another box of like 200 cards that I don't take to shows because that's the stuff that I enjoy for myself and I want to keep that. I like to look at that stuff. But for me, when my mindset is after I've had a card for a while and I've enjoyed it as much as I can, and if it doesn't give me the same type of enjoyment that it used to, if I don't get excited about it that I used to get excited, then I'm willing to pass it to the next person. I'm willing to find it a new home, a new custodian to take it, somebody else that can enjoy it as much as I can, and then just move on and then find something else that I'm excited about. That's kind of how I like to collect. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. You know, everybody has stuff in their collection that they just don't get super excited about anymore. And when that time happens, then you let it go. You know, it's okay to let it go. And then other people have things in their collection where they just love it and they look at it every day. And every day they look at it, it brings memories to them. It gives them certain, you know, excitement and feelings. Those things you want to keep. You want to keep that until that feeling goes away and then you move it. And that is just part of the hobby, guys. Everybody in the hobby at some point in their life, they either buy, sell, or trade things within the hobby. That's just part of the hobby, and we have to accept that. Hopefully that answers your questions. City by the Bay. Hey Dan, what would you like to see on cards that has never been done before? Never been done before. Oh, one thing that I saw that was interesting, okay, to kind of go with this is not really an answer to your question, City by the Bay, but something I saw on Jeff Wilson's channel, Sports Card Investor. He showed me like a card. He showed a card that had like a video screen inside the card and it played like a highlight of the player. And then it was like autographed. I forget who makes it, Tops or somebody like that, right? Where they were like, it's like a card, it's a thick card with a little tiny screen inside the card that played a highlight of the player, and it was like numbered and stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting. I think they're definitely getting creative with all their gimmicks that they're doing now. But for me, for something that I would like to see, I don't know. I mean, everything. I love all the products that are out there right now. I don't know if there's anything that I would necessarily like to see them make that I haven't seen before. Um, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I maybe like maybe like a redemption that let you meet the player. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like you pull the redemption autograph, and it was a really cool card, like a one of one really cool card autograph. It looked like a superfractor, but on the back you could also redeem it if you wanted to give it up. If you wanted to give up that rare card, redeem it for like a dinner with the player or something like that, a meet and greet with the player, something like that, right? I think that would be kind of a cool gimmick that people could do. And then you would have the debate whether it would be like, do you keep the card or do you redeem it? You know, I think that'd be kind of cool because the whole redemption system that they have right now, where you get that little white card with the sticker on it, that's stupid. Like it's so like you can't, the redemptions are so hard to get. They take so long to get now. And then people try to sell you the redemption card, and you're just buying a little white piece of cardboard with a sticker on it. It doesn't do anything for me. So I think that they should just get rid of all the redemption cards and make real actual cards. And if you want to redeem it for some type of experience, that would be a cool thing that I would like to see. Okay, LA Hobbyist, my friend AJ. I need to give this guy a shout out. I don't see him enough anymore because we don't go to these local shows together anymore. But AJ, the LA Hobbyist, he's a really good guy in the hobby. He works his butt off. He tries to create positive experiences for a lot of people, especially kids within the hobby. So he's one of the guys that I always like to see succeed, and one of the guys that I want to support. So if you can, go try to support his channel on YouTube, LA Hobbyist. He can be a little bit of annoying sometimes. I know, guys. Hey, I'm AJ, the LA Hobbyist. That's his tagline. Super annoying, but he's a really good guy. So if you don't want to watch his content, you don't have to, but just subscribe to his page, please. We all have to support each other. This is something that I'm really going to be pushing. We all have to try to support each other and all other content creators, because there's a lot of trolls out there. There's a lot of negative focused content creators out there. And I don't want those guys to be the majority. I don't want those guys to take over and stomp out the good people in the hobby, tear down the good people in the hobby. So we all have to try to support each other. So go support my friend the LA Hobbyist, AJ. You don't have to watch his stuff. Just go subscribe to him because he needs subscribers for sure. All right. Max, would you buy a blue prism Luca or Ja Morant or Edwards? Love your videos. Much love from Berlin. Max, my friend from Berlin. I've got a couple people from Berlin that follow me. Very cool. I might have to go to a Munich card show at some point. I saw Brian, Sunday League Investor. I saw him make the Munich vlog. It looked crazy. I want to go out there. So if I go out there sometime, Max, you got to be my guide. Okay. So to answer your question, between Luka or Ja or Edwards, for me, I like Ja Morant. I think that guy is super talented. I've said that before. I said that before. I said that 2 years ago. If you go back to some of my content, I said that Ja was the guy 2 years ago before he had his big explosion in the playoffs. I think he's really talented. I only worry about his health because he's so skinny and he's so explosive. And guys that are super hyper athletic and they're skinny, if something happens, like they get injured, then that's it. They don't necessarily have the skill level to compensate for any type of injury. So that's the only thing I worry about him. Luka is also super talented, super skilled. I'm less worried about him getting injured because he seems more like a skill player over just pure athleticism. But I think Ja is special. So I would take Ja over those two other guys. AJ, the LA hobbyist, also belated Merry Christmas to you and everyone here. Thank you. Appreciate that. Merry Christmas. City by the Bay, go Niners, of course. All right. Answer a couple more comments, and then I'm going to get to my next thing, which is going to be my next topic, which is my top 3 pickups. So let me try to get through some of these comments because there's a lot. Okay. But I promise you guys, if you stick here, stay with me. I will get to all the comments. And you know what? As I go through my drink here, guys, and I'm feeling good, there might be a giveaway at the end. No promises, no guarantees, but there might be a giveaway at the end if you stay, okay? So we'll see how far we can go. Depends on my mood. If I'm in a good mood, we'll likely do a giveaway. If somebody triggers me and gets me on a rant about something and stresses me out, no giveaway, okay? So don't trigger me, guys. Don't trigger me. All right. Emmanuel, seeing prices for Star Wars Galaxy Chrome boxes between $300 to $450. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, that's just whatever the retail is. You can't really control that, I guess. I don't know what the top's retail price is. I think it's 300. I think I've seen pre-orders for the cases at like 350 a box. So I don't know. I think 450 is a little bit much. Consider that Galaxy Series 1 came out at $200. Or actually, it came out at $100. It came out at $100, then it quickly moved up to like 150, and then it hovered at 200 for a while. Now it's like at 600. Okay. The closer we get to Series 1 prices of $600, the less interested I am about the box. I would be a buyer at like between 200 to 300. I'd be a buyer. Anything higher than that, it's pushing it, to be honest. Maybe like 350 would be my max on it, but I don't know. I mean, it depends on the card. The series comes out tomorrow. We need to see how well it's received. I've seen previews of it. I'm not crazy about it, to be honest, of the previews that I've seen. But let's just see the whole set. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt, and let's see what the community thinks. City by the Bay, you're right on the money. Many times the best offer was my first offer that I declined like a fool. That's what I'm telling you guys. It's so easy for us to get greedy when it comes to selling cards. Everybody wants to squeeze out all the profit and things like that, right? But we don't understand, or we don't talk about how difficult it is to sell cards. Okay. So if you get a fair offer, if you get a good offer and you're making profit, just take the profit. It's never bad to take profit. Nobody ever went broke taking profit. Saxento, my buddy had a Mac Jones gold downtown and was offered $12,000 cash at the National. He turned it down and now he's stuck with it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. And everybody has that story. Everybody has that story where they're just like, oh, they're just hesitant. They were just a little bit too greedy, a little bit too hesitant for whatever reason, and now they regret it. Okay, the longer you hold a card, when you're actively trying to sell it, the lower the price is going to be on it, most likely. Axel, my friend Axel here. Preach, curator. Greed is the biggest enemy in any market. That is so true. That is so true. Okay. It's too easy for all of us to get greedy. Okay. So we'll have to kind of remind ourselves. That's why I'm always preaching cost basis, guys. Cost basis, cost basis. If you can make profit on a card, take the profit. Okay. unless you really, really believe in the card. If you believe in the card and you think it's worth a certain amount, then you need to be the biggest advocate for that card. You need to pump the hell out of that card because you need to show everybody else the value of that card. Otherwise, don't expect it to happen automatically. Facts. City by the Bay says facts. Low roller scratcher. Do you think sports going up in 2023? I think that you're going to see a steady market. You're going to get peaks and you're going to get declines, but it's going to be steady. I think you're going to get, if I had to predict it, I think you'll see maybe a fluctuation 10 to 15% either way throughout the year. Okay. The line will probably trend down over the course of 2023, but it's going to be within a 10 to 15% range. 5 to 15% range is going to be the trend, I think, based on this year. Okay. We're not going to see a huge decline in prices because we haven't seen a huge increase in prices. This year, everything kind of like went on a slight decline or stayed steady. So when that happens, you're not going to see a huge decline in the pricing, I don't think. Okay. The only time you see a huge decline is when you see a huge increase in prices because when something goes up really high, everybody tries to get in, and as well as good as things can get, nothing ever goes up forever. There's always going to be a correction. That's when you get the steep decline. So 2020 was a huge incline, 2000 or increase in prices. 2021 was a decline. Okay, a steep decline, and 2022 was a steady decline on that. And I think that's going to be the way it is until the next boom happens. When that happens, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be next year. City by the Bay. I like how, well, first of all, let me highlight this. He says 6 shirt. He's talking about my Between Two Slabs shirts right here. Boom. Okay. And then his next comment is, I like how your arms way more beefy. You see this? My arms are a lot bigger than Merlin's. Okay. That is true to life, guys. That is true to life. My arms are bigger than Merlin's. But also, that was a stipulation I put in the design for this t-shirt. I said that it had to be true to life. My arms had to be bigger than Merlin's, so they did it. We just gave him pictures of ourselves, and they did it that way, guys. He hates me for it, though. Okay, so those are our comments. Let me get to my next subject here, okay? Because I'm going to go on these long rants, guys. All right. When I don't have Merlin here, so if you guys don't know, Merlin is the producer of Between Two Slabs. He's the guy that he sets the agenda. He keeps the time going. He moderates the conversation. He reads the comments. When he's not here, I don't have anybody to ring me in. I'm just going to go off. I could talk for hours, guys. Believe me, this could be like a 4-hour long podcast. If you guys let me, this will be like 4 hours long. So I got to keep it rolling. Okay. I got to keep it rolling, get through these topics for you guys. Okay. All right. So my next topic is my top 3 pickups of this year. The top 3 cards that I got this year. I'm going to put top 4. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a bonus. Top 4 cards this year. All right. So first top pickup this year has to be the Jedi Ala Kurosawa Superfractor. That card, even though I don't have it, I sold it. I took profit on the card, but that's got to be my top pickup this year because I've gotten so much exposure from that card. So many good things have happened from me picking up that card that it's in my top 4 for sure. So for those of you who don't know, that card was found in a shoebox in Atlanta Culture Collision by Merlin. Merlin found that card in a shoebox. He showed it to me. I instantly knew that card was special when I saw it because of all the gold on that card. It's simply beautiful. Stunning card in real life when you see it. Merlin got it. He put his crazy number on it, 10 times what he paid on it. I paid up to get it because I personally thought it was undervalued. It had the potential to go higher from what he is. So I paid him his price. I got the card. And then I graded the card and I marketed the card. And I had full on intentions of taking that card, marketing that card for like a year, and then sending it to Golden to be the first Star Wars Superfractor to be sold. That plan kind of got altered because some guy by the name of Daps came up to me at the Union Marketplace show when I had it on display. It was the first show that I had it on display, and it had no price tag, was not for sale. But he came up to me and he made me a ridiculous offer on the card that I could not pass up. Going to my first point that I learned, guys, usually the best offer you get is the first offer is usually the best offer. So I took the profit at that time. I sold that card, but all the exposure I got from that sale, the money I made from that sale, the impact to the Star Wars card market from that sale, and all the people that were affected by that made money from that sale, it was totally worth it. Totally worth it. So that has to be one of the best cards that I've gotten, that I got this whole year, and one of my best sales all year also. And since that, now I've become friends with Daps, and I get to visit that card. I get to visit it whenever I want. I get to hold it whenever I want. So I still feel like I'm connected to that card. I'm just not the steward of that card, the caretaker of the card right now. So that's my first major pickup, my first top pickup. Second top pickup would be I have these cards right here. All right. My 1931 Walt Disney Mickey Mouse rookie card. The W.D.H.O. Willis Walt Disney Cinema Stars 3rd Series rookie card. I think that this is just an amazing card. Given how I love Disney, I love everything Disney, Disneyland, all the movies, all the characters. Given the rarity of this card, the year of this card, the fact that it has Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse on it, I think that this is a super cool pickup. I learned about it earlier this year, and I was able to acquire not one, but two of these. I actually got two of these in this grade PSA 8, but this is a super, super cool card. One of my top pickups for sure. I think it's a special card for sure. Okay. Third top pickup is going to be, it's not a card, but it's a comic book. My X-Men #1 in the CGC 3.0. I got this at Comic-Con. I've been wanting to get into high grade, vintage Silver Age comics all year long. This is the first one that I bought, paid a lot of money for it, $12,500. But I love it. I love the subject matter of it. I love the look, the patinaed look of this card. I love the idea of being in graded comics, how that's just another interesting market for me to kind of learn and play in. And it's just super cool. And I love the fact that I got it at San Diego Comic-Con. And this is the first gateway comic for me to kind of get deeper into more Silver Age comic books. Okay. That was my third favorite pickup. And then my fourth favorite pickup for you guys that I'll share with you is my Sergeant Slaughter Superfractor, Topps Transcendent Superfractor. Okay. So Topps Transcendent Superfractors, ultra coveted among wrestling collectors. There's only, I think, 52 of these in existence, 52 Superfractors in existence. They made Topps WWE Transcendent from 2009, 2020, 2021. But 2019, 2020 do not have Superfractors. They have one of ones, but they do not have Superfractors. Only in 2021 did they make Superfractors, and they only made, I think they made like 49 individual ones, and they made 3 tag team ones. Okay, so 52 total, I think, or 52 or 53, something like that. Okay, but Sergeant Slaughter is one of them. So it's very hard to get into the Superfractor Club, the WWE Superfractor Club, because many collectors have multiple Superfractors. These dudes hoard them. I myself have 4 of these. I have 4 Superfractors. I have got Sergeant Slaughter, I've got Charlotte Flair, Bret Hart, and Bobby Lashley. So I've got 4 myself. I know people that have more than that. Okay, so it's a small group of people that can claim to be in this club. But for me, having the Sergeant Slaughter is really cool because growing up, I'm a big G.I. Joe fan. Sergeant Slaughter was one of my favorite G.I. Joes from the movie. He was such a badass. And then in real life, he was an actual character too. He looks like his action figure. He talks like his cartoon character. He's just super cool. So this is just, I'm probably the only person in the world that would ever want this, but I consider myself a Sergeant Slaughter super collector, super fan. So for me to get this was really cool. I was watching it on eBay for a while. The guy didn't want to budge on his price, so I just paid up. I just paid up to get it. but I have no regrets. I overpaid for this for sure. I probably overpaid for this for like by like $1,000, but I don't care because I love it, and every time I look at it, it brings me joy. All right, so those are my top top 4 pickups of the year. Let's get back to the comments. Ed Ram, is Burbank show going to be the next Dallas type show? I think so, to be honest. I think that they're getting there because in terms of size, they're quickly going to scale up to be the size of Dallas. The way that Dallas used to be. When Dallas was like 500 tables, 600 tables, Dallas was really, really good show. Now Dallas is 700 plus tables. I think they're just a little bit watered down. I think they have too many vendors. I think they took a lot of the foot traffic off the floor and turned them into vendors, which has greatly affected the show. But they still have a lot going for them. Burbank is going to get there, but I don't think they're going to scale up that big. I think they're very much aware that they need foot traffic on their floor for their vendors to be successful. So they have a focus on that. The other thing that they figured out is they figured out how to inject money into the show to cycle through the economy of the show. That's something that a lot of shows haven't figured out, but Burbank figured it out. So I think Burbank is going to be the next major show that people are going to travel to across the country for sure. The first show was bananas, guys. It was so crazy. So this second show is really going to be their coming out party. I should say, if they can make a big show, this next one in February, then it's going to be a major show, a must attend all year long. Trader Griffs, belated Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to you too, brother. Thank you. Global Sports Card Investor, our friend from Australia. Good day. There, legends. Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining us. Global Sports Card Investor, with all the happenings in our beautiful world, when do you think we see some sort of bounce back with collectibles in general? Good question. Good question. I'll give you my opinion about this, okay, for what it's worth. Thank you for asking. I would say I've noticed over the last couple of years that the hobby, the market of the hobby really flows with other markets. When other markets are good, then the hobby is going to be good. Okay. When the stock market is good, people have money. When real estate is good, people have money. When crypto is good, people have money. Okay. So you're going to see all these. So you can see other markets, and then that's when you know the hobby is going to be good. Because you got to understand, for many of us, this is still very much a hobby. Some people want to call it investing. Some people want to call themselves flippers. But for like 90% of people, this is still very much a hobby. So we only allocate, discretionary money to the hobby. If we have, if times are tough in the economy, okay, people are responsible enough to prioritize their money. Hopefully, right? Hopefully, people are responsible enough to prioritize their money to paying bills, to saving for a rainy day, to paying other things, right? Only when we have extra money to blow and waste on something, we go to whatever, hobby that we have. Okay. And for us, it's no different in the card market. So I would say that until we see a large bounce back in the economies here in America or even all over the world, I don't know what the economy is like in Australia or anywhere else, but in America, as when we see the economy get better, then I think that we'll see more money get put into the hobby. Okay. And when there's more money into the hobby, all the prices will go up because people are just buying more. They're transacting more. So hopefully that answers your question, my friend. Low roller scratcher. Investing rookie is very risky. Like Zach Wilson is a bench. Now Mac Jones got benched for the year. Yeah, I don't QB prospect. I don't invest in rookies. I don't do any of that stuff. I buy legends. I buy cards that I want. I'm not a speculator in that regard. And I don't recommend it for anybody. It's gambling. It's gambling. But for some people, it's fun. It's really fun. And if you can understand that you're gambling for fun, no problem. Go ahead and do it. But don't call it investing. Call it gambling. My friend Ivan, Collect 3D. If you guys don't know, Collect 3D, he makes the inserts. He is a 3D printing genius. He makes the inserts. Check it out, guys. He makes the inserts for Slabmags, okay, so that you can put in one touches in your Slabmags. You don't have to put graded stuff. He also makes all sorts of other 3D printed things, okay? He's just a 3D printing machine, basically a living machine. So go check him out. If you need any adapters for your Slabmags, he is the man to go to. He also makes his own cases for cards and things like that. Go check him out. Okay? He is a friend. He is a friend of the show. So he says low pop really matters when the ratio of submitted versus gem is very high. If you have 5,000 cards submitted but only 10 are gems, then it has merit. I would agree to that as long as there's only 5,000 cards out there. But if they make 50,000 cards, which is usually the print run on some of these things, then that pop count will always rise for sure for modern cards. Vintage cards, no, you're pretty much safe. That applies to vintage cards, but for modern cards, I mean, all you got to do is look at like the Luca prisms, right? Base prisms. I think a PSA 10 is like, what's a PSA 10 at pop count? Over 15,000, you know? So if it's over 15,000, how many did they print? All right, next one. Michael, Tom, is 2022 Topps Chrome Star Wars Galaxy 2 releasing tomorrow? Yes, it is. From all my sources tell me, yes, it is. What's a good price? I think 350 is the price based on what I'm seeing cases sell for. So don't quote me on that, but that's just based on my research. Joe Champine, Dan, great chat. Thank you. Appreciate that. As the master of uncut sheets. Well, thank you for that. I call myself the connoisseur of uncut sheets, not the master, but I appreciate that. Thank you. How do you value set pricing on uncut sheets on auctions or eBay with no resale in mind? Thanks. So for me, I don't even know. I don't even know how to price uncut sheets, to be honest. I don't know. Okay. I buy them, but I don't know. Basically, when I see an uncut sheet go up for sale, if I've never seen it before, I go after it and I just pay whatever I'm comfortable paying for it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's worked in my favor, sometimes it backfired. I'll give you an example. Okay, let me pull this out real quick. Here is my Dunk and Go Nuts uncut sheet. Dunk and Go Nuts uncut sheet right there. Okay. I told this story earlier, but I'll share it with you guys again. All right. That sheet, super rare, right? I saw one go for sale on Golden or something like that, or Heritage or something like that earlier this year in February on Golden, I think, February. And I tried to buy it. Because I really want it because I collect Kobe insert uncut sheets. Okay. I bid it up to like $9,000 and I still didn't win it. $9,000 and I still didn't win it. And that's a lot of money for me. Okay. Some people might think I'm rich. I'm not rich. I'm just irresponsible with my money. Okay. And I'm lucky that my wife has a good job. She makes good money. But anyways, I bid it up to $9,000 and didn't win it. And it went for like 10,000 or 10.5 or something like that. I don't know. Maybe even 11,000. I forget. And, of course, I was heartbroken. I was crushed, but I just didn't have the money for it. And then luckily, earlier this year, it showed up on Golden again, a different one, and I got it for like $3,000. So sometimes it works out in my favor. Sometimes it doesn't. Does that mean that the sheet is worth $3,000 and that it wasn't worth $11,000 early in the year? I don't believe that because it's super rare, It's super rare, and it's not like you can just go on eBay and find one easily, right? So you just have to kind of go for it. If you see an uncut sheet at auction, you just have to kind of go for it and you spend whatever you're comfortable spending if you have no resale in mind, like your question says here. Okay. But if you can find it easily, if you've seen it multiple times or you've seen some comparable sales or you can find it on eBay or whatever, then yes, you can go with the traditional method of valuing it. but for a lot of uncut sheets, they're just really, really hard to find. So, and this kind of goes to that point too. I'll just add this last point to this is my thought process is when I see rare cards, one of ones, or things that I just don't see often, I just go for it. I don't care if I'm paying a fair price. I don't care if I'm necessarily overpaying. If I'm comfortable paying whatever it is, I just go for it because I don't know when I'll see it again. Okay. Chances are I'll see it again and I'll probably have overpaid. But for some things, you got to go for it. When you're collecting, you got to go for rarity. PK's got a good question here. Do you think that tanking in card value is entirely due to all the external macroeconomic conditions, or that we're underestimating how cards just aren't cool anymore by many? I feel like this is a loaded question here. I feel like all these trolls that watch my podcast every week and take studious notes so that they can make reaction videos. I feel like this is a loaded question for them. But I'm gonna answer it for you guys anyways because I'm halfway through my drink and I'm feeling spicy, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna give them material. I know these guys need material. I know they don't get views without me. They're like leeches. Feeding off of me. So I'm gonna help them out because I'm in a good mood. Okay, give me a second. Let me think about this real quick here. Okay, so here's my thoughts on why cards tank. Okay. And we've seen this. We've seen this with like really high end cards that go for sale on golden auction. Last year, the card was like $100,000. Now it's like $10,000 or something like that. You can find many examples of that, right? Okay. I think there's a combination of factors. So one thing that my approach is like you can't really distill the hobby down to a formula or a science. You can't really make sense of this. I've said this many times before. Nothing in the hobby makes sense, right? It's a hobby. It's based on emotion. As much as people want to try to claim that they're investors and that they're buying this card because it shows up on this graph and this price chart, and they have all these reasons, they have all these analytical reasons on why this card is a buy, this card is a sell, or whatever, right? At the end of the day, this is still a hobby. People buy on emotion. People buy cards because they believe in a player, they have a team, a player they collect, they're optimistic, they see opportunity, nostalgia plays a factor, competition plays a factor in bidding, marketing plays a factor, all this stuff, right? At the end of the day, it's really based on emotion, okay? And I think with a lot of these values that are tanking, they're due to people sending cards to auction. When you send cards to auction, you can't expect a price. I don't care what the salesperson who got you to consign with them told you. I don't care if they said, "Oh, this card's going to bring you 100 grand guaranteed or whatever, blah blah blah," right? I'm sure they don't say that. I'm sure I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I'm sure they don't say that, but you should not have any expectation when you send a card to auction. If you sell it no reserve, you started off at $1 or $500 or $1,000 or whatever starting bid it goes for, it could go for anything. Okay. And I think that people try to not all people, but the people that get themselves in these situations that send cards to auctions that don't get the result that they expect, they expect that a card should have a certain market value. Okay. I've got this really rare card. The market value should be X amount of dollars on it. Okay. I've always made the argument that a card is only worth as much as somebody's willing to pay for it at that time. At that time. Okay. So if you have a really rare card and two people really want it, they're going to fight over it and they're going to pay, whatever the highest bidder is willing to pay. If you have another card, if that same card is for sale at a different time in the year, okay, maybe there's not the competition to drive up that price, so it goes for lower. Does that mean that card is only worth that much, or does that mean that that person was in the right place at the right time? I don't know. use the example of my uncut sheet, my Dunkin' Go Nuts uncut sheet. In February, me and the other dude, we're fighting it out. We're bidding each other up. It goes to like $10,000 because we're fighting each other. Okay. Come back down in like whenever I bought this in like October or something like that. It's just me. The other guy already paid for his. He already has it. He's not there. So it's just me and the guy below me. And maybe the guy below me doesn't want it as bad. And that's why I got it for $3,000. Okay. It just really depends. You never know what happens at auctions. So I think that trying to value something based on auction sales, you have to take into account that there's, a lot of auctions are really unpredictable, and it really depends on how many people are there at the time, how many people can bid on the auction, how many people are paying attention to the auction, how many people know the auction. When everything's on eBay, it's very easy to kind of like use eBay as comps. But now because there's so many marketplaces, it's like it's so hard to value things because nobody has time to check all the auction sites. You know what I mean? There's so many marketplaces out there with so many rare cards that it's hard to like keep track of everything. So you're going to find deals at these different auction sites. Okay. So I think that has to do with a lot of the way that the card market is right now, where things are just not as valuable as much. I also think that's just part of it. Okay. That's just part of it on how people are selling these cards. The second part of my answer here is that I feel like a lot of these cards that are being bought are not being bought for collectible reasons. They're being bought to maybe for investment purposes, to flip the card, to put money into the card, to sit there because you don't have anywhere else to put the money, something like that. So there's not a lot of real genuine collectors out there buying these cards because they want them and they want to hold them. So therefore, there's less competition, right, out there because of that. And I also think it's also a reflection on the confidence of the market. A lot of prices have gone down, so maybe a lot of people don't have money or are not willing to put big money into all the cards out there. And that's just where we are in the cycle of the market right now. So you have to take all those things into consideration. And I think a lot of it has to do with the second part of your question here, due to external macroeconomic factors. Yes, I think it has to do with like the way the economy is. If people are not making a lot of money through their job or through their other investments, then they're not taking that whatever excess money that they had before, they're not taking that and moving it to cards. Okay. A reason that we had so much money being pumped into the hobby is because people were making money in other places. They were making money in real estate, flipping houses, cashing out on houses. They were getting stimulus money. They were making money in the stock market. They were making a ton of money in crypto, right? In NFTs, people were making money in all these different markets, right? So they wanted to take the money out of those markets and they wanted to put it into something else. And cards was a good spot for that. Now things are different. People are making less money out in different types of markets. So there's less money coming into the hobby. Okay. And then the last part of your question, that we're underestimating how cards aren't cool anymore. I mean, I would argue that cards are really cool. I would say cards are cooler now than they ever been. There's so many great designs. There's so many different sets out there. There's so many different ways to participate in a hobby. So I would argue that cards are still just as cool, if not at the peak of coolness, that they've ever been. I just think that there are not a lot of focused collectors out there, collector focused people out there. I think there's still a lot of flippers out there, investors out there, and that's why that's causing volatility. But as if that kind of fades off and more collectors jump in, then I think it'll be better. Hopefully that answers the question. It sounded like a long rant to me. Sorry, but hopefully you got you get maybe a little nugget of information in there. James, Daniel, I have been buying, selling, trading sports cards since 1980, and I love it. That's your perfect example right there. That's the perfect example. Those are the people that we need in the hobby right there. People that have been doing this for decades because they love it. Buying, selling, trading. James, if you've been doing this since 1980, I hope to God that you cashed out big. I hope that you were there during the boom, that you made a lot of money, that you have an amazing collection, and that you continue to share your experience with everybody else. That's awesome to hear. LA Hobbyist, miss you, my guy. He's talking about me. I'm like his big brother. He looks up to me like a mentor. I'm always rooting for you, Dan. Appreciate that, AJ. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Let's see here. Okay, let me get to my next talking point, and then we'll get to more comments. Okay. All right, let me get a drink here, guys. I'm talking a lot. I'm starting to lose my voice, but I'm gonna keep going. This is gonna be a marathon. Okay, I don't have Merlin to pepper in comments here and there and give me a break. So this is gonna be a marathon, but we're gonna get through this together, guys. Okay, I've got two more talking points to do, and then finish the rest of the comments, and then we'll see if I'm still alive. Okay, but my drink is still here, so I'm good. Okay, let's talk about my top 5 highlights. Top 5 highlights of the year. Okay, number 1, first highlight is got to be selling the Kurosawa card. Selling that card for $16,500 at the Union Marketplace, having been able to make great content around that sale, having the buyer be DAPS, and having DAPS bring so much more exposure to the Star Wars market, and building the relationships that I got from that. Everything, it was hard for me to sell that card, to be honest. If you go back to watch the video, you see how like hesitant I am about it, how torn I am, and how almost sad I look, like regretful I look that I sold that card. But you see my real-time reaction. And I tell you guys in that video, go back and watch that video. I tell you guys, I did it for the greater good of selling the card. Okay. The money's great. Okay. But the after effects of selling that card, the impact that it had on the market, that's the real reason that I sold that card. Some people call bullshit on me for that, but basically everything that I talked about in that video, everything that I hoped for, everything that I predicted to happen came true. So I think that I came out on the winning end of that. And it was definitely one of the highlights of the year for me, selling the Kurosawa. Second highlight is the Dallas Card Show. Dallas Card Show has a very special place in my heart. I've been to like 8 of them straight. I'm going to be missing the January one this year because I'm going on a vacation with the family, so I'll be missing that. But the Dallas Card Show definitely has a special place in my heart. It is such a unique experience for any collector to go there because you are immersed. You are immersed in the hobby for like 4 days. For like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days, you are immersed in the hobby, guys. It's card show from like 9:30 all the way to like 6 o'clock. Then from 6 o'clock to like 2 a.m. trade night. It's just nonstop cards. Everybody's living in the hotel. Everybody's staying in the hotel. You see everybody in the hallways, in the elevators, at the restaurant, at the pool. It's like a big family reunion. The level of camaraderie there is amazing. It's so much fun. The amount of deals and activities that you get done there is crazy. It's really hard to find something that's comparable to the Dallas Card Show. So that's got to be one of my overall highlights of the year. But specifically, one Dallas Card Show. Okay, I'm going to disclose this. I usually don't tell people how much money I make at these shows, but I'll just tell you this since this is the year in review. And I've had a couple drinks into me. At the March Dallas Card Show, I made $30,000, guys. $30,000. It's the most I ever made at a card show. $30,000 in sales, guys. It was incredible. I couldn't believe it. And it was just like validation to me that my cards that I was buying were desirable, that going to card shows made sense, sometimes, and not anymore, right? It's gone down a lot since then, but at that time it made sense. And it was just like, it was such a high to be able to go there, be a vendor, and find success and make a ton of money, and then take that money and reinvest it and buy other stuff. It was just an awesome experience that I loved. So, I think that you can only get that at Dallas. That's unique to me. I've talked to some guys that they claim to make like 40, 50 grand at shows and things like that. That to me is crazy. But for me, you guys got to understand that I'm still on a very lower tier scale when it comes to cards. There are guys that have like crazy inventory, crazy amount of cash. They do all sorts of things at card shows. But for me, that was definitely a highlight, making that much money at the Dallas Card Show. That's my second highlight. Third highlight was going to the National in Atlantic City and being a vendor at the National. I didn't make as much money as I made in Dallas, but I still made a lot of money, and it was just a crazy experience because it was just nonstop deals for like 5 days. It was nonstop deals. The amount of activity, the amount of enthusiasm at at the national, in spite of the market where it was and the hobby and everything else, despite all that, it's like the national is its own bubble. It's of the hobby. No matter what happens in the hobby, no matter where prices are, no matter where the attitude is, if you go to the national, you're going to have a good time. You're going to spend money. You're going to do deals. You're going to sell cards. You're going to trade cards. Everything is like, it's a perfect storm of hobby when you're at the national. And being there, having the privilege of being a dealer, thanks to our friend Donald, who hooked us up, allowed us to set up with him at the show. It was just such a great experience. One of the highlights of my hobby career, and definitely of the year for sure. And the amount of fun that I had with all the boys, Paper Gemz, Mo, Merlin, Brian, Sunday League Investor, all my friends out there that we hung out with, Jordan, all those guys. The amount of camaraderie and fun that we had was just like awesome. And I definitely look forward to it next year going into that. So that was my top 3 highlight. Top 4 highlight is, this is going to be a little bit unique, but I'm going to say that there's 2 throughout the year. I've met a lot of people. I made friends. I met a lot of people, mostly adults. But sometimes I meet like little kids that watch my content and they like me and they like it for some reason and they learn things from my content. And I think that's super cool. And 2 kids that stand out to me that I want to highlight is this kid named in Toronto. His name's Mason from Toronto. And he just came up to me at the show and he introduced himself to me. He said that he watched my content. He really liked it. He learned about it. He started collecting Star Wars because he watched my content, and he was just really excited to see me. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, who is this little kid, right? But I kind of like became friends with him throughout the show because he was there like all 3 days. And despite me having a hard time at the show, having a hard time selling things, having a hard time just being out there, he was definitely one of the highlights of that show for me. I became friends with him. I gave him some free cards. I met his mom, and I kept in contact with him. I sent him a gift for Christmas, and I just really enjoyed the interaction that I got from him because it reminds me of like pure hobby innocence. Like kids in the hobby, we don't see a lot of kids in the hobby these days. So when you see a kid and he collects things for fun and he's having fun, participating in the hobby, buying, selling, trading, doing all that stuff, I think that's super cool. So Mason is definitely one of them. And then the other kid I want to highlight is another kid called back here in SoCal. His name is Caden. I see him at all the local shows, and he always comes up to me and says, "Hey, what's up?" and wants to take pictures with me and shows me the deals that he's doing. He's a little hustler. He's actually kind of famous. He's been on like, people have been sharing his videos and stuff. I think he's got a YouTube. I'm not sure. But he's a little hustler. He wheels and deals. He does buying, selling, trading at all these shows, and he's always excited to see me. And he won one of my giveaways one time, and I got to meet him and his dad. But meeting those 2 kids was definitely one of my highlights of the year because that just kind of makes me feel good about the content that I put out there. Finally, the 5th highlight of the year for me is, and then I'll get to comments, is the Between Two Slabs show. This show here, guys. I gotta say, going on 60 plus episodes, doing this throughout the whole year with Merlin, this has been one of the best things for me in the hobby because it is such a creative outlet for me to be able to come on here and just rant and chat and talk with you guys for like 1 hour, 2 hours every week. Whatever's on my mind, I can share it on this platform. Whatever rants I want to do, I can do it here. Whatever, seeing the same people every week come in here and leave comments and interact with us, it's just super cool. Before we did Between Two Slabs, I was making informational videos. You can see that in my catalog. Those things were very time consuming, very hard, and they didn't feel natural for me to do. So the podcast has been a great way to kind of pivot from making those videos, those short form videos, and go to like long form discussions, going from a 10-minute, 20-minute video to a 1 hour, 2 hour discussion. I just feel like it's more natural. You guys can kind of get to see my personality more. You really get to get to hear my thoughts on issues and get my opinions about things that I can't really convey in videos. I can do on this show. So I really love it. I really love interacting with all you guys. I know these names now. I feel like I know a lot of you guys, and I got to know you guys through this show. And it's just a great outlet for me to participate in the hobby. So I really love this. I really love all the support that we get from you guys. So that's my fifth highlight of the show. And I'm starting to lose my voice. You guys can hear it. It's getting raspy. I'm getting raspy right now. Okay, but I'm pushing through it. Okay, let's get to the comments, and then we'll get to the third talking point, which is my top 3 goals for 2023. And then I think I have to come up with an idea for a giveaway. Okay, for all the people that stuck with me this long. Okay, let's get to some of these comments. Let me try to get through this here. Okay. Connor McDavid giveaway. Hell no. You wish, HK Barn. But the McDavid giveaway, it's not a giveaway. It's not a giveaway. The McDavid PMG is available. Trader Griffs gonna give away the pirate painting. Why you guys want all my good stuff? No, I'm not giving away the pirate painting. But let me show it to you since you want to see it. Boom! You guys remember when I had that in the background? People were so obsessed with that painting. I don't know why. People just love it. Look at it. These are my giveaways, guys. If you guys want some toys, you can have it in my giveaways. Oh, by the way, here's a shameless plug, self-promotion. Anybody that buys any cards with me or does any deals with me, I'm going to be giving bonus toys right here. You guys can pick from these toys, mostly Star Wars toys, some Marvel toys in there. But you'll get a bonus gift. So anybody buys cards from me or anything like that, hit me up. We'll do a deal, and I'll hook you up with a free gift. Okay. PK, I remember when Sasha T said first offer is always the best offer, and he got roasted for saying that on the video. I mean, who will roast him? Who's going to roast Sasha T? Come on, that dude is still around. He doesn't make content anymore, but I still see him at card shows. I just saw him a couple weeks ago at a card show. So the dude is still out there hustling. He's just more low-key now. Emmanuel, pump what you like. Yes, my catchphrase. Pump what you like, guys. Pump what you like. Andrew, Dan, do anything fun or special for the new year? Hope you have a good one. Nothing special, but fun. I spend time with my family. That's all I care about. That's my number one thing, my number one priority. I pride myself on being a family man. So that's what I'll be doing for New Year's. Thank you for asking. Hopefully you have a good one too. Robert Cameron, do you have the Sergeant Slaughter G.I. Joe figure? Yes, I have multiple Sergeant Slaughter G.I. Joe figures. I don't have them within reach. Oh, actually, I do. I do have one within reach. This is one of the newer ones that I acquired. I have the older ones too, but check out this. This is a G.I. Joe classified Sergeant Slaughter figure with the exclusive mini Sergeant Slaughter figure, guys. Look at that. Have you ever seen such a thing? Have you ever seen a figure holding a smaller figure of himself? This is crazy. It's bananas, guys. Check it out. How cool is that? I love it. I love it. Sergeant Slaughter. Have you ever seen a Sergeant Slaughter figure holding another Sergeant Slaughter figure next to a Sergeant Slaughter Superfractor? No, you have not. Only on this channel, guys. Only on this channel do you get this type of top tier content. Check it out. Screenshot it if you like. I love you guys. Sorry. I'm a dork. Okay. Some people think I'm serious, but most of the time I'm just a dork. 90% of what I say is a joke, guys. In the hobby, 99% of what I say is a joke. In real life, I'm a professional. I'm serious. But within the hobby, within the confines of the hobby, I just let loose, and this is how I am. Okay. All right. What am I going to say here? Oh, 2023, you're going to see a lot more toys and comics, guys. Start to expect it now. You're going to see a lot more toy content, a lot more comic content, a lot more nerd content from me. I'm sure the trolls are going to have a field day. They're going to say, "Oh, he's pumping, he's pumping GI Joe classified figures. He's pumping Sergeant Slaughter and this and that." They're going to have a field day. But you know what? I don't care. You guys are going to see it because I know you guys like it. I know you guys are nerds just like me. I know you guys collect this stuff just like me, and you want to see it. And I'm gonna give it to you guys. I'm gonna show it. I promise. Axel C. I'm planning to go to London maybe in February or their next show. 2023 is looking bright so far. In February, I also hit the 1-year mark of leaving my job. Congratulations, Axel. I always applaud entrepreneurs, people who start their own businesses, people who work for themselves. I always applaud that. Congratulations, brother. I hope you succeed. I hope you go out there. I hope you kill it. And I want to hear your stories. Jake Ryan OC, Galaxy 2022 has redemption cards for some numbered refractors. That doesn't make sense. That's crazy. I'd be pissed if I got a numbered refractor card. I don't like that. Chavaki's in the house. Uh-oh. Wherever there's Jake Ryan OC, there's not far behind, there's going to be Chavaki. Always watching him, making sure that he doesn't do anything bad. If you guys don't know, that's a married couple. The first married couple, maybe the first, maybe the only married couple part of the curator army that comes into our chat. One day we're gonna be doing a podcast and they're gonna be fighting in the chat. I'm waiting for it. It's gonna be spectacular. Robert Cameron, I love this hobby. Sports cards are great. That's the attitude everybody should have. Some people like one thing. Okay, you triggered me, Robert. Oh, it says robot. I've been reading it wrong. Robot Cameron. Okay, you triggered me. Some people, like I would say, right? You would think that in a hobby where we collect things, you would think that everybody's just in here to have a good time. Everybody loves it. Everybody wants to, just further their collecting goals and just participate and have a good time, right? You would think that, right? There seems to be a lot of people, or I don't know, maybe not a lot, but there's definitely people in the hobby that don't like the hobby, that just talk trash about it, that don't have a good time, that try to pick fights with people, that are constantly unhappy. And I just wonder myself, like, why do you waste your time here? Why don't you just like not participate? Why don't you just like not buy cards? Why don't you just not scroll content, unfollow people, don't watch the YouTube videos, don't go to card shows? Like, you don't have to do any of this stuff, right? But still, there are still people that are in the hobby that are just like trying to pick fights with people because they're so upset about things, right? I just tell those people, a lot of those people are trolls that attack me. But I just tell those people, like, dude, your time is very valuable. People don't realize how valuable our time is, okay? It's not unlimited. Our time that we can spend in the hobby is very, very valuable. It's our free time that we can spend doing this stuff. You should not be wasting it doing something that doesn't make you happy, okay? Go find something else. I'm sure there's something out there for these people to do. I'm sure there's a TV show for them to watch, family for them to spend time with, different hobbies for them to do, something. I don't know. But you don't have to do something if it doesn't bring you joy, right? That's what blows my mind about these idiots out there that just like, they're always in a bad mood. They always want to pick fights with people. They always want to tear people down. It's like, dude, why are you like stressing yourself out about this too much? Okay. You don't have to be part of it. Just go do something else. All right. Moving on. Don't trigger me. Okay, guys. Don't trigger me. I'm trying to keep this positive. Let's see here. We got some cryptocurrency talk, but let's not get into that. Let's not trigger other people with the cryptocurrency talk, okay? Robot, do I collect the 1985 Garbage Pail Kids? No, I do not. I did open a box that Top sent me the other day, but I do not collect those. I never got into those, but my brother was really into it as a kid. For me, they kind of gross me out a little bit, so I do not collect Garbage Pail Kids. Low Roller Scratcher, do you collect video games, VHS, DVDs? These are going up lately. I don't really collect any of those things. I might buy one for nostalgia purposes. Like I might like there's a VHS of X-Men. It's called I think it's called Pride of the X-Men. It's like one of the it was before the cartoon came out. But it was a really cool animated X-Men movie. I might get that for nostalgia purposes. I really love that. I remember watching that as a kid. I might buy some video games that I used to play, but I'm not going to be investing in that. That's just not a market that I want to get into. I realize that market does exist and there are collectors that will pay good money for the graded stuff. I'm not part of that. I collect a lot of stuff already, guys. I got my hands full. I got my hands full, okay? I got toys, I got comic books, I got cards, I got art, I got memorabilia. I got a bunch of junk, okay? I don't have time for any of that stuff, but I might pick it up just for fun. Robot Cameron, the great curator. Thank you for your bid experience and knowledge on sports cards too. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I always appreciate the support. Appreciate it, brother. I 90% of what I say is a joke. 90% of what I say is just for entertainment. But I do try to give you guys little bits of knowledge here or there. Okay, little nuggets of knowledge, and hopefully you can take that nugget of knowledge, you can apply it to yourself, and you can it can impact you in a positive way. That's my hope. All right, trying to get through the comments here. Steven Fuentes, Dan doing big things, Sporto. I know who this is. Sporto Cardo here. This is the guy that makes these crazy reels that get like a million views. So if you're still in here, Steven, shout out your Instagram. Let these people follow you. You deserve to be recognized. I consider him a friend in the hobby. I don't see him as much anymore because he's married now and he has real life responsibilities with work and a family. I don't know if you have a baby coming or anything like that, but I miss seeing you at the show, Steven. Crazy, crazy Kobe collection. This guy's the man. PK with a long response here. Thanks for the thorough answer. My question wasn't trolling. Don't worry about it, dude. I didn't even think you were at all. I personally love cards as well. Just wild how fast things went down and it bums me out. Well, it happens. It happens. Whenever there's a lot of excitement and whatever prices go up super fast, there's always going to be a steep correction. But I think that's a hard lesson that we all learned. I think that's a hard lesson we all learned the past couple years. So hopefully, if we get some type of growth like that again in the hobby, we will be more thoughtful with it. Thoughtful on how to manage it is what I meant. Mid Atlantic sports cards and collectibles. What did you net on 30K in sales? I think like 13 grand, something like that. I don't know. I had to go back to look at my numbers, but it was around that much. Andrew, thanks so much for answering my questions. You really could use some moderators, huh? Laugh out loud. Keep your voice rested. Yeah, you know what? I think there's like a way I can put like there's a way we can have moderators in here, right? I don't even know what a moderator does. If you want to be a moderator in between two slabs, let me know. Maybe we can work something out, okay? Because I definitely could use some help here. I never, oh my gosh, I never realized how much I relied on Merlin to do these shows. I really could use him right now. I lean heavily on Merlin. Merlin, if you're Merlin, you need to jump back in here. Wherever you are, Merlin, we need you back. Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm trying to skip through some of these comments of the guys that I've been highlighting. I'm trying to get to the comments of the people I haven't highlighted yet, but I will try to get to as many comments as I can, guys. Okay, we'll be wrapping this up pretty soon. Those of you who stay, you will be eligible for the giveaway if you guys stay. But let me see. Axel, a Zoom live would be cool with some of the army. We could share our collections too. So that is what we are going to do with Merlin. Merlin is going to be doing interviews, okay, just like he did with Adrian CV Sports Cars under Between Two Slabs umbrella. Merlin's going to be there where you can highlight your collections, talk about whatever you want. So if you want to be on Merlin's show, okay, which is a spinoff of this show, DM him on Instagram and get on his schedule. He's doing a schedule right now. He's going to be doing weekly interviews with people. So Axel, if you want to be on there, hit him up. Chavaki, are you doing another live before New Year's? Probably on Instagram. Not going to be on YouTube, but on Instagram, I'll probably do a live. You know, I get like bored. Sometimes I get bored and I just want to go online and just hang out with you guys. I mean, I'm addicted to my hobby family. I love my hobby family as almost as much as I love my real family. I feel like I know you guys. I talk to you guys every week. Some of you guys I see every week at shows. I know you guys. You know what I mean? So I love engaging with you guys. And if I go too long without talking to you guys, I miss you guys. Okay. I just said, I miss you guys. So I have to go live at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Okay. But I just love that interaction. So yes, I'll probably do another one before New Year's. Maybe I'll do one at New Year's. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys don't have somewhere to go on New Year's. Maybe you're just at home like me, spending time with family, and you want to talk about hobby stuff. Who knows? Maybe we'll do it that way. You know? There's a lot of comments here of people giving me encouragement, saying I'm cool. Thank you for all that stuff, guys. I don't want to highlight it because I'm speeding through this, but I appreciate it. I'm reading all these comments, guys. Believe me, I'm reading all the comments here, and I appreciate all the encouragement I'm getting. Thank you guys so much. Chavaki, can't wait for your comic to be back. I would say probably in about 3 weeks it's coming back. So we hope that the giant size X-Men gets a grade bump. Can you imagine if it came back a 6? I sent it off as a 5.5. Can you imagine if it comes back a 6? I'll lose my shit. I'll forget about cards. Cards are out. I'll be all in on comic books at that time. No, I'm just kidding. Karan Verma. Love the content, bro. Thank you. The sale with Daps. He says Dapper, but it's Daps. Was a great video. I left my job to sell cards full time. Love from Australia. Oh, thank you. I was beginning to think, Karan, some guys in Australia, based on that other idiot that makes videos, I was beginning to think that I wasn't getting much love from Australia, but I can see that I still have friends out there, so I appreciate that. Awesome to hear that you're able to start your own business, leave your job, become an entrepreneur. I hope that you find great success out there. If I ever make my way out to Australia, you guys will have to tell me where are the hot places to go. Ed Ram, these trolls live in their parents' basement. Laugh out loud. Most likely. Most likely. Most likely. Some of them even look like basements, to be honest. Like you think they could like jazz it up a little bit, you know? But some of them like look like really like dungeons. Yeesh. Mid-Atlantic sports cards and collectibles. The hobby is a stew of collectors, investors, and flippers. Huh. Never thought about it that way. Yeah, that is true. I don't think the negativity is coming from actual collectors. No, not. I don't think they're actually coming from anybody that is truly in the hobby. I don't think these people are real collectors. Or they might be flippers, I guess you could say, but I don't see them at card shows or anything like that. I just think they're. I don't know. They used to. I think that here's my theory. Let me take a sip here. Here's my theory. They used to be in the hobby as a collector or something like that, investor flipper. They got burned somehow, okay? And now they've made it their life mission to tear down the hobby. That's what I think is happening. I think that at some time in the past, these dudes were negatively affected somehow. They've become disenchanted with the way that the hobby has grown. They don't like all the new people, including myself, that are in the hobby, that are making content. They don't like change, and they're just trying to tear it down because they want things to go back the way they were. Okay. I can understand that. I can understand how being afraid of change can upset people, but the hobby, for us to, for the hobby to thrive, it has to grow. Okay. And I think one of the reasons that the hobby had a lot of problems in the late 90s, 2000s, how it didn't have much growth and how it almost died off, I think it was due to the fact that we didn't get new people in the hobby. We didn't get new blood. There wasn't innovation. There wasn't investment. There wasn't any type of real excitement. It was just stale, you know? And I think that what's been great the last like 3 years or so is that we have had such more amount of young people enter the hobby, so much more innovation, so much more investment from big companies building the foundation of the hobby that has taken it to where it is today, and plans to take it, further, more steps in the future, right? That's what we need in the hobby. Otherwise it's just like it's not sustainable for a lot of people to do this full time as a business. Card shops, flippers, investors, content creators. It's not going to be sustainable for these people to be in the hobby if we don't grow. So that's just my thoughts. I don't know. Maybe there's another reason for it, but with these people, I just wish that they just realize that they're wasting their time trying to tear down other people, and that they go find peace and happiness somewhere else. Uh, Robot, how about the GI Joe Classics 1980 DVDs? I have those. I already have those. Would I buy a graded? I wouldn't buy a graded version, I don't think, unless it was like not that expensive. But I actually do have those ungraded. But I love the cartoon. The GI Joe Classic 80s cartoon. That's my thing, guys. That's my thing. That's so nostalgic. Those episodes don't really hold up anymore. They're really dated, but I just love it. I love all the 80s GI Joes. You guys want to see me start really pumping something? I'm going to start pumping GI Joe pretty soon. I would have done it sooner, but GI Joe has kind of become the laughing stock of the hobby because of the whole Pokemon fiasco. But believe me, guys, look at this. Okay, I got GI Joe cards waiting to go. Okay, if anybody wants GI Joe cards as a giveaway, I'll make that part of the giveaway package. Okay. Andrew, my guy Dan is preaching tonight. Wow. I go on these rants. If I don't have Merlin to break up the conversation, I'm gonna go on long rants. Apologies. Thank you for hanging in there. CV Sports Cards 2023 is going to be a great year to collect some high end and tuck them away. I agree. If you see rare cards go up for sale, cards that you don't think are going to be available or attainable, again, I'd say go for it. Might as well, That's what I've been doing. McCracken, honorable mentions for my top highlights of the year. Getting uncut Marvel sheets. Yes. McCracken. I love this guy's name. The McCracken. I met this guy. I think I met him in Atlanta, Culture Collision. And he told me about these uncut Marvel sheets that he had for years. And he was so gracious enough to sell me a couple. And I've added them to my collection and I love them. So thank you for that. The McCracken. Random Florida Adventures, formerly Relax Outdoors. We met you at Houston, right? Houston Card Show, if I remember correctly. Me, you, and Merlin. Good to see you. Good to see you back in the YouTube game, brother. James McCarty, why is sports card investor threatening everybody? I don't know. Who's he threatening? He hasn't threatened me. I don't know anything about that. So I can't comment it because I don't know the context of it. But I would assume if he's threatening people, they probably did something to him. I don't know. What's going on? Tell me. Trader Griffs, we should set up a curator army day at Angel Stadium this summer. It'll just be you and me. You and me, Griffs. All right, almost down to the comments here. I'm almost getting there. This is interesting. Frank Chong. There's maybe a notion of elitism from collectors that were around before 2018. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that because I've gotten like some of the OGs in the hobby have definitely looked down on me personally. So I definitely feel I've definitely experienced that myself. But I can understand that, right? People that were in the hobby before, they want acknowledgement, they want respect. They want to be the OGs. You come to me. You want to know how to play this game? You come to me. I will teach you, right? Or don't tell me my cards. Don't tell me those cards are valuable because I know what's valuable. I've been in this game for a long time. There's definitely that attitude in the hobby, which is it's understandable, but I think that people just have to understand that the hobby is evolving. Okay, it may have had a steady increase the last 20 years, but the last 3 years it's definitely changed a lot. A lot of younger people in there. Young people have different taste, different things that they value, different opinions, different perspectives, new businesses, new way of doing business, new things. So things we have to adapt. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I hope that 2023 more people become a little bit more accepting of the changes, and people coming in are more appreciative of what was came before us too. We have to have a balance. HK Barn Collectibles grew up on 80s GI Joe. If you're in your 40s, if you're like 35 to 45 like me, you grew up loving GI Joes. I think there's a big fan base out there for GI Joes. We just haven't come out of the GI Joe closet yet, but it's gonna happen, guys. 2023, I'm gonna pump GI Joe. Believe me. Mid-Atlantic sports cars and collectibles. Important to distinguish between trolls and whistleblowers. The hobby is unregulated, so I believe we do need people to call out scammers. Yes, I would agree with that. Okay, but I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's pretty obvious when a content creator is making content about somebody that they're trolling because they don't like them for whatever reason, versus somebody that actually did something bad and they're trying to call them out on it. It's obvious. It is obvious, okay? Especially, well, for me it is anyways, okay? And I think that we have to be careful about this, okay? Trying to glorify whistleblowers or trolls, okay, who call themselves whistleblowers, because it's very easy for them to spread stories that are untrue, to get people to believe in lies, okay, to create false grievances in people's minds, and to get those people to answer call to actions to attack people in the hobby. This happens a lot. All right. And I'm going to get real serious about this. This happens a lot where people get bullied unfairly in the hobby. Okay, I've experienced it myself from these trolls masquerading as whistleblowers, trying to create friction or contempt in the hobby. All right, what we need to understand is that these guys can make whatever content they want. That's fine. Okay, free speech, but we have to understand that what they're doing is they are content creators trying to leverage your viewership, monetize your views for their own benefit, okay, so that they can make money, and that we should view it as entertainment. The same way that we watch gossip shows, Real Housewives of whatever, or we watch, what's that show called? The talk shows like Jerry Springer type talk shows. The same way we watch those things, we watch it for entertainment, but we should not be triggered to act inappropriately based on those things that we watch. Okay. And I think that's where a lot of these people are leaning. They're trying to create an environment where people act on their content, and I don't like it. Okay. It's rude, it's inappropriate. and it has no place in the hobby. You want to watch it for entertainment? No problem. You want to educate yourself on scams and stories and gossip in the hobby? No problem. But don't fall for their trick. Don't think that somehow somebody that you don't know, that you don't interact with, has somehow offended you to the point where you have to reach out to them and call them names and threaten them or do anything like that. Don't let these people plant a false grievance in your head, because they are leveraging your view time to monetize, and it's for entertainment purposes only. Should not be for anything else. Okay. And it's obvious. It is obvious out there. So sorry for going on that rant. You triggered me. Mid-Atlantic, you triggered me. Sorry. James McCarty. He has sent 3 letters to 3 known content creators for lawsuits, sports card radio, etc., pursuing legal actions against them. Your thoughts as a lawyer? I would say that if he sent letters to these people, then they're probably affecting his business some way. And when you mess with somebody's business, whether it's right or wrong, when you mess with somebody's business, you mess with their money. You mess with their money, you mess with the way that they can provide for their family. So as a business owner myself, if these people, these content creators are calling things out, they better be damn sure that they have a cause to do it. Okay. Other than the fact that they don't like them. All right. If they're trying to mess with somebody's money, if somebody tried to mess with your money, James, I don't know what you do. If you were like a doctor or something and somebody was trying to write bad reviews about you or talk bad about you and it affected your money, you damn well sure would take legal actions if you could. All right. Whether those are valid legal actions, I don't know. I don't know the facts to support it, but I think that if people are attacking him, then he has the right to protect himself whatever way he sees fit. And if he has the resource to hire an attorney to write a letter to these people to try to get them to stop, that's probably the best way to do it. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't go any more than that. Hopefully it doesn't go to court. Hopefully it doesn't go like back and forth video content or something like that. But I think that anytime anybody tries to mess with somebody else's money or their livelihood, they have to take that seriously. So I don't blame him for that. Okay. I don't watch any of that content, so I don't even know what they're talking about. I assume it's like that PPP loan stuff that they were talking about. I don't know beyond that, but I don't blame the guy for trying to protect himself. Let's see here. Mid-Atlantic Sports Card Collectibles. Again, this is a follow-up to his previous one. Many just want clicks. That's what it's all about, guys. Even me, I make these videos. I want you guys to click. By the way, please like, share, subscribe to this video, to Merworld Cards, also to my Instagram, all that stuff. Please, I need it, guys. I need it. But yes, that is what this is about. It's about us as content creators. We do this. The only reason we do this is to get viewership. Okay. We want to monetize and get viewership from you guys. Okay. That's the whole point of doing this. It takes a lot of time and effort to do this. We pay money. I pay money for this streaming service to do this. I pay for this microphone here. Okay. I pay for the camera here. I do this every week. I spend a lot of time doing this. All people that do this stuff, we're all content creators. We're all in the same boat. We do this for clicks. Okay. We leverage the viewership to monetize and all that stuff. So when you see this stuff, understand that it comes from that perspective. All right. So when these people try to say, oh, I'm fighting for justice in the hobby, I'm exposing this person, I'm doing this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They don't give a shit about any of that stuff. What they really care about is they want to get your views, okay, to make their money, especially those guys. All right. So that's what it is. So just view it as entertainment. Don't take it as a call to action to attack people or be sour about the hobby or have fights with anybody. All right. If you don't know these people personally, that these people are talking about, if you don't know them personally, you've never had any personal interactions, they've never wronged you in any way, you should not be mad at them. I'm sorry. Okay. Just view it as entertainment. James, I love G.I. Joes. You and me both, brother. Here's Frank again. Algorithms have made people's opinions more polarized since it just keeps pumping them with the same type of content over and over again. That is very true. That is very true. If you follow those clowns, then the algorithm's going to post all the videos. And here's the thing about those guys. They're all part of a group. They're all part of a clique. They talk about the old boys club of like Jeff Wilson, Ken Golden, and they put me in there for some reason, and other people like that. They've got their own clique too. Okay. They've got their own clique of all these people that collab and go on their lives, and they do the same thing. They do what I do, but they do it in their own way. Okay. And that's fine. That's fine. But just don't fall for the bullshit. Watch it. If you want to be entertained, if you want to hear salacious gossip, if you want to hear provocative discussions about this person, if you want to hear conspiracy theories, if you want to hear stories about this guy trying to tear down this guy and this or whatever, okay, go listen to that stuff. No problem. It can be entertaining. Some of it can be funny. Some of those guys are funny, okay, with the way that they deliver their material. But just understand that it's entertainment. It's nothing else, okay? Don't let them place a false grievance in your head. And the reason I say this, okay, you guys hear me say this a lot, false grievance, is because I get messages from these idiots that follow them. They'll message me and they'll say, I can't believe you did this. You're blank. You're, they say racist comments to me. They talk about my wife. Sometimes they talk about my kid. They talk about me as an Asian person. They talk about my cards, how I collect, I collect these loser Marvel cards or worthless Marvel cards. I get these messages all the time. And these people don't know me. They've never done a deal with me. They don't watch my own content. They just attack me based on a predetermined opinion that was implanted in their head from watching these other guys. And that's stupid to me. Okay. That's just ridiculous. So that's why I'm a very vocal proponent of that type of content. Okay. Not that you can't watch it. You can watch whatever you want, but just understand that it's for entertainment purposes only. Okay. It's not a call to action to attack people, to try to bully people in the hobby. If it's happening to me, it's probably happening to a lot of other people in the hobby too. So we all have to kind of like stand up for that and draw a line somewhere. All right. All right. Sorry, guys. Frank, stop triggering me. All you guys trying to take over my life here and get me to talk about this stuff. Ugh. All right. Let me talk about, let me get to this last. Okay. I'm going to go to the last talking point. Then I'm going to talk about, we're going to have to do a giveaway. I don't even know how I'm going to do a giveaway, but we're going to figure it out. Okay. Last talking point is top 3 goals for 2023. Top 3 goals. 3 goals here, guys. Okay. Goal number 1. Oh man, this is going on long. This is over 2 hours right now. Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to get through this, guys. All right. We're going to get through this together. I promise. Top 3 goals. Number 1 is from now until the national is to prepare for the national. Prepare my inventory for the national. I need, in my mind, my plan is to get, I'm going to have like 3 cases. I'm going to have at least 3 cases at the national. So I got to fill it up. And I want to have the most rarest, most unique items at the national. One of ones, things that you never see, type 1 photographs of people you never see before, comic books, toys, wrestling cards, Star Wars, Marvel, other pop culture cards, vintage cards. I want to have the most unique, the most rarest items there, curated by myself for the national. That's my goal. I don't want to compete with anybody on price at the national. Everything I have is going to be totally unique. And I want people, when they walk by my table, they want to stop in their tracks. They want to take pictures and they want to try to pick up a rare item from me. That's my goal. Okay. That's my top goal. And it's going to take months for me to curate those items. I've got to sell off all my common stuff. I'm almost there. I've got probably about like 15 cards left, 15, 20 common cards left, and I need to liquidate. So if anybody wants to see my inventory, hit me up. We'll do a deal. I'll give you some free bonus stuff. But once I consolidate that inventory, I'm going to get rare cards. Rare. That's the name of the game for me in 2023. Rare, unique items, and I think it's going to be awesome. Okay? So that's my goal. Number 2, this kind of goes with that, is I want to build a collection, a super rare collection of items that I think will hold value, that I think will appreciate over the next year, maybe next 2 years. And when that next big boom comes out, I want to be that guy that sends the rare items to golden auction and gets record prices, but you can only do that if you have super rare items. So 2023 is going to be my year of picking up super rare items. And then my third goal is I want to continue to build a community around my content. Okay. So I call it, we joke about all the time. We joke about the curator army. We joke about the Merlin maniacs. I also just recently realized that between Two Slabs is short for BTS, just like the Korean K-pop band BTS. So we can build a BTS army too. But I want to build a community of followers around our common interest, things that other people aren't talking about. Marvel cards, Star Wars cards, G.I. Joe, wrestling, pop culture stuff. I want to build all that stuff around the podcast, the Instagram, everything for you guys, so that we can all interact with each other and just have fun, just build on this and just have fun with it. You don't have to buy this, you don't have to sell that, you don't have to trade, you don't have to do whatever, any of that stuff. You can just hang out, you can watch people talk and nerd out, have these discussions about these things, and it's a safe space. It's a safe space for us to interact with each other. It's not about how much you can flip and make a card, make money on a card. It's not about what is really valuable versus what is traditionally valuable or any of that stuff. It's a safe space where we can all interact, where we all support each other, where I can give shout outs to people who are trying to make content, for people who are trying to start up businesses, where we can show appreciation for people who do good things in the hobby. But we just want to build a community. So that's going to be my main goal for 2023. Okay. Those are all my talking points. I got through it, guys. Oh, my throat. I'm dying here. My drink is pretty much watered down now. It's all ice. But we got through it. I'm going to get to the last couple comments here. And then I got to do a giveaway. I don't even know. How am I going to do a giveaway? How am I going to do a giveaway for you guys? I don't know. Any suggestions? I could give a shout out. I think I could give a shout out and try to get people to. What I've been trying to do is trying to get people to subscribe to other people's YouTube pages. I could do that, I guess. Or I could just say, I got an idea. Okay, I got it. Let me get to these comments here. Let me develop this idea in my head, and then we'll do it. Okay. Let me see here. Where are my comments here? This is the interesting comment here. Sean Johnson. What has gone wrong in the hobby? Who are the bad guys? Content creators excluded. It seems like you never see the ugly side of the hobby. Rose-colored glasses, ? Okay. So here's my response to you, Sean. I don't know what to tell you, but I view this as a hobby. I don't have to be here to do this. I have other responsibilities. Some people, they do this full time. I understand they're stuck within the hobby. They have to, everything affects them. But for me, I treat it as a form of entertainment, as a hobby for enjoyment. And I only focus on the things that bring me value. I only focus on things that make me laugh, that are interesting, that are entertaining to me, that I like. I focus on people that I interact with, that I can interact with, that bring me value, that make me laugh, that bring me enjoyment, that support me. I focus on things that I like. That's basically it. And things that I don't like, I don't focus on. So it's not that I have rose-colored glasses on and I'm blind to these things. I just don't care. Okay? Why do I care about what this other person's doing if it doesn't affect me directly? If it affects me directly, sure. Okay, fine. We can fight about it. We can talk about it. We can have a long discussion about it. But for the most part, a lot of things that these people do, they don't affect me. Okay? And I just don't care because I have a lot of other things to focus on. All right? And I've always told myself that if the hobby becomes toxic, okay? If the hobby becomes toxic to me, I can easily step away from it and I can do something else. I don't need to collect cards. I love it, but I can go collect toys. I can go collect comic books. I can go watch a TV show and binge watch. I can go to the movies. I can go, I don't know, take up fitness. I can go take up a different hobby. I can go play Warhammer. I can do a lot of things. Okay. I don't need to spend my limited time that I've allocated, my free time that I've allocated to the hobby to focus on any type of negativity. It brings me no value. And that's what I want to tell people too. We have a limited amount of time, free time from our responsibilities, from our families, from our work, from real life, from responsibilities. Real life, there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems in the world that you can focus on, and they can stress you out and you can debate it and all that stuff, right? A lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. The hobby should not be one of them. That's what I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm naive about that, okay, fine. Call me naive. But I'm just not going to waste time dealing with things that stress me out, To a certain extent, I might clap back at some of these trolls, here and there, but I'm not going to make it my main focus. There's just too much stuff to collect. There's just too much stuff to enjoy, I just can't. I don't have enough time. Maybe one day if I retire and I've got unlimited time, then I can look at everything in the whole context and I can address all these things that you want me to address. But for right now, for the limited time that I have in the hobby, I choose to find things that bring me value, bring me joy, not things that stress me out or bring me down. Frank, ha ha ha. My bad. It's fun to see the venting too. It's great entertainment. Well, I'm glad. You're stressing me out and my venting, it brings you entertainment, Frank. Make sure you like this for that. HK Barn Collectibles, good listening while doing eBay listings. That's pretty much my demographic. My demographic is of followers and listeners are people that need background music, need background noise. I'm like the white noise that you turn on. You turn on this guy who's going to go rant for 2 hours so that you can fall asleep or that you can do whatever you need to do. So I appreciate that. Frank, you shouldn't have a normal table display. You should have a 20 by 10 booth with museum style displays for your curated collection. First of all, that would be awesome. And I actually do have a booth, but I'm sharing the booth with a couple people. Like Merlin is one of the guys that I'm sharing with, Brian, Sunday League Investor. So we do have a booth. We will be sharing it. But all that stuff, it's expensive to set up at the National. So I'm still entry level. Maybe if I build up in a couple years, I'll have my own booth and I can have like things that are hanging, stuff like that. But that would be awesome. We'll see. We'll see how well this year goes. If this year goes and it's a total bomb and I don't sell anything and I make no money, then I might have to reconsider this whole unique curated display. I might have to go back to base cards, guys. Joe Champine, 3 goals, 2023. Vintage, rarity, uniqueness. I agree. Yes. That's the way to go, guys. Believe me. Ed Ram, great show, Dan. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. All right, you guys are giving me suggestions here. Trivia. Pick random number. Okay. Okay. Let me get this last comment and I'll tell you guys what I think here. Ty Bug one Rob. Enjoy your channel very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. I collect mainly non-sports. All right, my man. Marvel, Star Wars, a man after my own heart. You have great insight on these. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, brother. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I got 65 people in the chat right now. 65 people that have hung on with me through this whole entire 2-hour rant. God, don't you guys have anything to do? Don't you have anything else to do? Listen to this crazy dude for 2 hours. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. what I'm going to do, this might backfire on me. But I'm willing to do it for you guys because I love you guys. And I love all the support that you give me. And the curator army is what protects me. Okay, when these trolls are attacking me and they're flinging their mud, the curator army is there to back me up. So I appreciate that. So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to set a timer. I'm not going to set a timer. Okay, it's 8:28 right now. Oh wait, that's my wife. I shouldn't be showing you that picture. It's 8:28 right now. Okay. When it gets to 8:29, everybody that messages me, DMs me on Instagram, okay, you're gonna get a giveaway. It's not gonna be anything fancy. It's just gonna be like either wrestling cards, Star Wars cards, or Marvel cards. Maybe I Joe, something like that. Okay. Nobody from Canada is allowed. Okay. Canada's expensive to ship to. I learned my lesson the hard way. So sorry, no Canadians are allowed. Okay. Continental United States only. Okay. 8:29. If you DM me on Instagram, I will do it for 1 minute only. Okay. This could backfire on me. If I get like 60 giveaways, I'll do it. It'll just take me some time, but I will do it eventually. But for 1 minute only, you can do it. Okay. If you won something before, don't enter, guys. I already sent you enough shit. If you won something before, don't enter. Let somebody else win. Okay. What we want to do here is I want to send unique cards to people to start off their collections. All right. I want to start people's Star Wars collections, their wrestling collections, their Marvel collections. If you have a preference, put it in the DM. You can do it. You better make sure you guys are all following me too. Okay. On Instagram. You better all follow me on Instagram. You do it for 1 minute. Okay. And then I will. Okay, it's up. Cut off. It's 8:30. Cut off. No more. You can't do it. You missed your window. You missed it. Okay, so if you didn't get it, you missed it. Sorry. All right. I don't know. Oh man, I got a lot. Okay, I got a lot. It's gonna backfire on me. I'm probably gonna have to send out like 30 packages, but I'll do it for you guys. Whatever. Okay, I don't care. I'll eat the shipping. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so there it is, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you didn't win, don't be pissed off. Okay. I don't want to hear anybody get pissed off. Just DM me later. We'll talk. Buy something for me. I'll throw in some free shit for you guys. Okay. So everybody's happy. I try to make everybody happy. All right. All right. So with that, oh, and if anybody won already, you're not eligible. Okay. I see you there, Jake, Chavaki, all these guys. All right. If I have extra stuff, I'll send it to you anyways. Okay. But I want to send stuff to people that haven't won a giveaway before. And I want to start your collection. Star Wars, Marvel, wrestling, G.I. Joe, whatever. Okay. I want to do that. And with that, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Last couple parting words I'll say with you, just in case I don't see any of you guys before New Year's, is appreciate all the support that you guys have given me throughout the year. I know that you guys are the real ones. You guys are the ones that I want to spend my time talking to. I don't want to spend my time fighting with some troll in his basement about something that doesn't affect me. I want to spend my time nerding out, talking to you guys. This is what brings me joy. This is what I really love about the hobby. I appreciate all the support that you've given to me, to Merlin, to my friends, Brian, Sunday League Investor, Adrian, CV Sports Cards, and all the other guys that are part of my crew. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you were able to reach your goals in 2022. I hope that you guys set new goals for 2023, and you guys can achieve that, and that we continue to build this community together. Please view me as a resource. If you guys have questions, comments, anything, you need help with anything, you can always reach out to me, and I will try my best to give you my thoughts, pass on knowledge, help you out, make a couple calls, do favors, whatever I can do to help you guys out in the hobby. Let me know. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're building. We're building a community. Thank you guys so much for your support. Appreciate everything that you guys do. And I will see you next year.